Some people love her, some people hate her. And this is Teelee time, where we learn the character Zafina, who is my main in Tekken 8 and has been my main since Tekken 7. And get ready to learn some stuff. Movement in Tekken is very, very important. It's literally the most important thing in the game. If you don't have movement, you will not get far, especially with Zafina. Zafina still has some of the best backdashing in the game, even though they nerfed it, but it's still effective. If you can move with her, such as side walking, side stepping, and even backdashing far away to give yourself space, you'll get extremely far with this character. And that's just my opinion. But other than that, that's pretty much what you really need with her. Zafina has 3 stances. Her first one I'm showing is Mantis. She can evade certain stuff when she goes into Mantis, and she can combo off of Mantis. It used to be her strong stance in Tekken 7, but 8 is the properties are very, very different. Zafina's second stance here is Scarecrow, where she's standing on one foot. Scarecrow is her weakest stance in my opinion because she could easily be jabbed or punished out of it. So be extremely careful when you go to Scarecrow stance. Triangula stance in my opinion is Zafina's strongest stance because she can evade many highs and mids in the game. And she can get away with it because once she gets into Triangula, it keeps the opponent guessing. And if you could just shift between those 3 stances, Mantis, Triangula, and Scarecrow, you'll get very, very far. So pressure in Tekken is basically just being extremely aggressive and offensive in the game, since the game is very match friendly. Zafina has some of the best pressure in the game, but it makes up for the fact that her combo damage in the game is extremely weak compared to the majority of the cast, which is why Zafina has to work extremely hard with her mix-ups and her poking. And her poking is what makes her go really far. If you could just poke and mix it up with her stances and do some of her combos, then you'll basically be straight. And basically Zafina has some very good speed too. Unfortunately, you do not want to be too aggressive with Zafina, however, because many of her stuff, especially her lows, can be extremely unsafe. So you have to be extremely careful with poking. And poking is just not finishing up strings or even combos. It's just doing simple moves. Punishing in Tekken is pretty much like rock, paper, scissors. You want to do moves that come out quicker or could beat out your opponent. And when you successfully block certain moves, you'll be able to punish that character with either a combo or a free hit. With Zafina's case, whenever she punishes moves, she usually goes into her stance, whether it be Scarecrow or even possibly Triangula, as what you have seen. And when she goes into Scarecrow or Triangula, it gives Zafina the chance to make her opponent guess the 50-50. And if they guess wrong, they're going to get hit. And it's very effective because Zafina is more stance heavy in Tekken 8 compared to Tekken 7, where her counterpart in Tekken 7 was mostly poking. Just take the time to look at this video to see which moves I use the most to help punish most of the moves. Moves that cannot be punished while being blocked are considered the safe moves, and you want to be as safe as possible with your character to avoid getting hit. And right now I'm just showing basically the safest moves you could possibly do with Zafina in the game, and that's it. Even though Zafina's combos are very unique and unorthodox, I'm not gonna lie to you, her combo damage is really bad compared to Alyssa, who could just do a wild damage with her chainsaws or her head, or even Lily, or even worse, Clive at this case, who could do over 130 combo damage. As you can see, Zafina does not do that much combo damage. And it's like that because she's mostly a mix-up, poking, and movement type character. But every character in Tekken has their strengths and weaknesses, unfortunately. On another note, every Simian player plays very, very different. I have my own playstyle. For you, as a player, I would strongly suggest to find a playstyle that fits you if you're going to play with Zafina. Because my playstyle may not always be effective, but I'm still learning along the way. As you can see, I only know simple combos, but it is okay. Key moves are self-explanatory when it comes to Tekken 8. Everyone does them. They're very effective and they're OP. But Sophia's heat moves, whenever she used her claw moves, Azazel, I remember. Sometimes during heat, Sophia has armor and it becomes more difficult to hit her. So that's why heat is very important. And whenever Sophia goes into heat, like many of the other characters in the game, she does more damage and she does more combo damage. So take into account that heat is literally your best friend in Tekken 8. And it is a fancy new mechanic to help the game stand out. For this section, just take the time to look at all of Sophia's heat moves. I posted all the heat moves there, and you can look at the moves that are in the game. The moves are right in the game. And if not, you don't know the notations, you can look at other videos. I know this is beginner friendly, but I'm trying to make it easy for people to understand without all the number notations and frame data. When it comes to Sophia's parrying, her only parry is too risky, and not only does she lose health, you leave yourself open. So sometimes I suggest you don't do it. Counter hits are what makes up Sophia's damage the most in the game, since her combos generally suck. I love Sophia, but yes, her combos do suck because her combo damage is too weak. So to get her damage the most is counter hits. And counter hits is basically when you catch your opponent mashing buttons or moving and they're not blocking. You could basically hit them and cause more damage that way. The more you hit your opponent and they're not blocking, the more it becomes and turns into a counter hit. And they take a lot of health away. If you're going to main Zafina, just look at this section for all her very good counter hits in the game. And trust me, counter hits are your best friend. I have been a Zafina main since Tekken 7, ever since they put her in the game. And that was honestly where Zafina was in her prime. I mean, she had great evasion. She was extremely quick. Yeah, I'm very good at breaking grabs too. And honestly, she was top tier in the game. I don't know what they did to her in Tekken 8, but I hope to see her come back to her prime as we move forward into the game. As I fought many other strong players, as you all will too, it will only make your gameplay stronger, especially with Zafina. Right now, people say she's bottom tier or she's a weak character, but it's not just the character, it depends on the player. I mean, some people won tournaments with the bear, and I do compete in locals from time to time. I did win a couple with Zafina, so it's a lot of work, but it's definitely worth it. Thank you. You can follow me on Twitch, and if you want to play me, my Tekken name's Teelee93. Thank you.